So Eddie Hearn confirmed the other day the reason they've chosen Hrgovic as an opponent for Anthony Joshua is because Hrgovic has the number 2 spot with the IBF, the number 1 being Filip Hrgovic. If AJ can go in there and beat Hrgovic, he can then fight Hrgovic potentially for the vacant IBF title sometime next year. And Filip Hrgovic, to my knowledge, has come to the end of his contract with Sauerland and Eddie Hearn, but perhaps he's going to renew. If so, that will be an in-house fight. So you can see why Eddie Hearn will want to go down that road. But the question for me, and I'm sure for most of you, would be, what happened to the Deontay Wilder fight? Yeah, we get that skill challenge fell out of favor with the higher-ups in Saudi, and now they've given the reins to Turki Al-Sheikh instead. But Turki Al-Sheikh is also interested in making Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder for a lot more money than you would get fighting Filip Hrgovic. Yeah, the Hrgovic fight might be for a vacant belt, and AJ does want to become a 3-time heavyweight champion. But you promised us this Wilder fight. To all of a sudden take a left turn after leading us on for this long, that's foul, Mr. Hearn and Mr. Joshua. I have to call that a duck if that's what they choose to do. Deontay Wilder, from all I've seen and heard, is desperate for the AJ fight. He put a video out a few weeks ago, which I made a video about, calling for a face-to-face meeting between himself and Anthony Joshua. And he was being very friendly and complimentary towards AJ in that video. Some people found that strange and uncharacteristic of Wilder. But I think the reason he was like that, and also the reason he was so friendly to AJ at the press conference the other day, is because he genuinely believes that Anthony Joshua is absolutely terrified of him, and that if he acts too aggressive, it will scare AJ off and the fight won't happen. So I think he's on a charm offensive to make AJ confident enough to sign on the dotted line. I think that's Wilder's tactic. Now, whether or not that's actually true, that AJ's terrified of him, you guys can make your mind up about that. Wilder definitely has a very warped sense of reality. He's still claiming that Tyson Fury only beat him because he cheated in their trilogy, with no evidence whatsoever. All this rubbish about egg weights in his gloves and spiked drinks with the referee and his own cornerman in on it. I mean, just total nonsense. Wilder is still pushing all that now. And he also at the press conference claimed that he's never had an opportunity, or when he was champion, he never had an opportunity to unify. That's a lie. He had an opportunity to unify with Klitschko right away. As soon as he won the WBC belt from Berman Stavern, he chose not to take it. Shelly Finkel came out publicly and said, Deontay's just a baby in the game. It's too early. Too early? He's got 30-something fights and he's a world champion. What are you talking about too early? If it's too early, give up the belt. So that was a lie. Wilder could have fought Klitschko very early on in his reign. He also had an opportunity to fight Joseph Parker when Parker was WBO champion, and he was given at least 3 offers to fight Anthony Joshua. That's a fact. The last offer was for over $100 million, and he says he never had an opportunity. Again, a very warped sense of reality Deontay Wilder has. Nevertheless, things change. Anthony Joshua isn't in the same mind frame that he was back when he was undefeated, nor is Eddie Hearn. There's an air of last chance saloon about the way Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are moving right now. They're not as gung-ho as they were when AJ was still unbeaten. And so while they genuinely did want the Wilder fight back in the days and tried to get it, I don't think they want it now. Certainly not as badly as Wilder wants it. Now, some people might argue that it's just smart business for AJ to become champion first and then maybe fight Wilder. I think the more you kick the can down the road on this Joshua Wilder fight, the less likely it's going to happen. And if it does happen, Wilder might be completely over the hill by that point. Physically, you'd think AJ's got more gas left in his tank than Deontay Wilder has at 38 years of age. Can't believe Wilder's 38 now. Joshua's like, what, 33? So he's got a lot of years on Wilder. Are they looking to age him out? I like fighters and their promoters to stay true to their word. If they promise fans something, they should deliver it. I can certainly blame Deontay Wilder for the fight not happening when they were both champions, but I have to blame Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn if the fight don't happen now, and I'm talking about within the next 12 months. That would appear to be their fault, them swerving it. If the fight happens, let's say 2-3 years down the line, it's a pointless fight at that stage. Not just non-essential, it's pointless. Assuming Anthony Joshua hasn't deteriorated as much as Wilder by that juncture. Because if they're both washed up in 3 or 4 years' time, it might actually be a decent fight. But But if one of them is, I'm talking about AJ here, much fresher than the other, and the other one's clearly finished, pointless. So I'm calling for Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn to follow through on their word. If AJ comes good in this Otto Wallen fight, let's see him in against Deontay Wilder after that. The Saudis are going to pay a boatload of money. If AJ puts in a performance, that's 3 comeback fights. That should be enough for him to go in there against an aging Deontay Wilder. Well, assuming Wilder comes through the Parker fight. It's heavyweight boxing, folks. Stuff happens. It wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world if Joseph Parker turned Wilder over. I expect Wilder to win. I'm picking him to win. But it wouldn't be like a huge upset in my eyes if Joseph Parker managed to get the victory. Anyway, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below about this whole AJ Wilder saga. Let me know what you think.